Have you got a bit of a reputation of always being late? This is one thing I found out when I got to Pakistan. I go, why is everybody always late? They give you a time and they arrive half an hour late and it's so totally okay. No, it's not okay. It's not okay. मैं समझता हूँ कि if everybody was on time here in Pakistan, we wouldn't have half the problems that we have. Punctuality is a very important thing, although I do realize that being punctual, especially for a person like me, is to be extremely lonely because once you get there on time, the other person hasn't arrived. Anyway, I am going to give you 4 reasons of how never ever to be late again. When are we going to do this? We're going to do this right here, right now. Here we go. Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Sohail Hashmi and this is Unplugged, the channel where I tell you most things because I have experienced them and I've gone through them myself. So I feel that if there's any bit of a knowledge I can give, I should be able to give those little bits of knowledge. Please do press the red button and also subscribe if whatever I'm saying makes sense to you. But here we go. Now, tip number 1. Tip number 1 is an interesting tip. And the tip is that you first of all have to realize that you have a lateness problem. A lot of people think, nahi, hamare paas to koi problem nahi hai. That's the wrong thing. If you have a problem, you have a problem. Then the other thing is that, well, if I'm late, well, the other person's also late and the other person's also late. So, it's okay for me to be late. No, it is not. The best way of thinking about this is the fact that if you're always late, that means you're giving your power to somebody else. So don't give your power to somebody else. Don't be powerless. Being late every day means that you are powerless to something. So that is the number 1 tip. Agree that you have a problem. Once you agree with that problem, then I believe that you are 50% there. So that's tip number 1. Admit it to yourself. Tip number 2, ladies and gentlemen, and that is that you wake up a little earlier. I know it's easy, I know it's simple, but the amount of times people don't do that is amazing. Because log samajhte hain कि अगर 4 बजे की meeting है, we will get there exactly at 4 o'clock. It strikes 4 o'clock, we walk in like a hero. No, it doesn't work like that. There are traffic problems, there are getting out of the house problems, there could be family problems, there could be khadda problems, that the car has gone into a khadda, there could be a problem that you're out of air, there could be a problem that you don't have petrol. So that takes away 5 or 10 minutes. My advice is to try and get there at least 15 minutes earlier. Stay in the car, have a drink, have a juice, have some water if it's in the car or whatever, but get there 15 minutes earlier. It's always good to be early. You always have the upper hand if the other person is late. So make sure that you time your timers and your alarm clocks. So if it's a 20-minute trip, make sure that you give yourself at least 45-50 minutes to get there. Because aap aaram se gaadi drive karenge, you'll get there on time and everything will be okay. So it's better to get there earlier than it is to get there late. Point number 3, ladies and gentlemen, is that every one of us is going to be late at some time. Anything can happen. So you're going to be 10 minutes late or you're going to be 20 minutes late. You're checking your watch. You know exactly what time it is. As a common courtesy, the best thing to do is to phone up your client or the person that you're going to see, or unko aap bataएं 10 minutes earlier or 15 minutes earlier. Hello, I'm caught in a little bit of traffic. I could be 10-20 minutes late. Please do excuse me. I am on my way. इससे ये होता है कि the people find out that you are a reliable person, that there actually is a problem and you've called them 10 minutes earlier, so they can probably change their schedule and do something else for 20 minutes or whatever. And if you get there earlier, you say, well, I really drove fast to make sure that I would get here on time. And sometimes you do get on time, but it's always very, very good that you keep your communication and you let people know. Communication is the key because everybody will not always be on time, but you can let the other person know. That is tip number 3, ladies and gentlemen, a very, very important tip. Having been in a managerial position quite a few times in my life, I have heard so many excuses of why people are late. There's just one excuse I haven't heard, and that excuse is the fact that there was a spaceship there and some aliens beamed me up to their spaceship, did God knows what with me, and before I knew it, I was back in the car again. So that is why I was late. People look through the excuses. So don't make an excuse. Always be truthful. You can't, always be truthful about what you're talking about, because that is the best way to go. And tip number 4, try and see whether you can plan your trip. Aajkal, we have things which we didn't have in my day, which was Google Maps. So check out what the address is, find out exactly where you have to go, how long it will take, and if it is a really, really important meeting and it's not that far away, go off some other time when there is no meeting and try and see where it is. Try and see whether you can find it so you've got your best route there. So that is very important. Plan your trip, know exactly how long it'll take. So those are the 4 tips that I've got for you. Now, if you're going on a date for the first time, most probably, you'll never be late. You'll be early with some flowers or whatever it is, some chocolates or whatever. Or if you're going to the airport, you're always going to be there early. An hour, 2 hours, 3 hours early, so you're never going to miss those things. So you know what not to be late for. It is very, very important and very respectful, because what you're saying is that you respect the other person's time. Not being there on time means that you're disrespecting the other person's time, and especially if you don't call them and let them know that you're going to be there. These are very, very important factors, and sometimes they need to be reiterated, because we live in a world where everything is so busy and, sometimes it's very difficult to stay focused. But I have not had a problem with this, but I do know a lot of people who have had a problem. If you do have a problem, or if there are other things that I can talk to you about being punctual, write them down below so that I can at least help you with that as well. I think 16 years hardly ever being late for radio is a little bit of a record, but then again, I am slightly mad with these things, as it is important. So if you've enjoyed what you've heard, please do consider subscribing. Also press the bell icon. I shall see you in the next episode. Thank you, and blessings to you and your loved ones.